Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video on channel. Today we're going to be going over the brand new balance changes. Let's get straight into it. The first balance change we're going to have is going to be Pearl. Now Pearl's getting a little bit of a buff for its trait when it regens the heat. It's getting increased by around 8% here. You can see by the comparison how actually it looks in game here. So yeah, you can definitely notice a bit of a difference there, and with the shield star power, of course, it's going to be very useful having this trait increase. Next brawler is going to be Macy. Macy's HP is going from 7,200 to 7,400. It's going to be a little bit of a buff here, but obviously having a tank counter getting buffed is always very nice to have. Surge getting a little bit of a buff as well here, and his first gadget cooldown duration is going from 15 seconds to 13 seconds, and I don't think this change is going to make a big difference, but I do think Surge is in a bit of an underrated place in the meta, so you know, every little bit helps. Next buff is going to be Pam's turret HP going from 5,600 to 6,080, and honestly I think buffing Pam before the hypercharge is even out is a bit crazy, because you know, I think Pam hypercharge is very good and it could just, you know, change up everything. So giving it a buff is a little bit risky here, but again, a good buff for Pam. Next buff is going to be Max. Now Max, to charge its hypercharge, is going to take 30 shots now instead of 40. Now this is a crazy buff for Max. I don't think it needed the buff, but yeah, I think that is absolutely crazy here. And its gadget, Sneaky Sneakers, which is Max's second gadget, is also getting a cooldown decrease from 10 seconds to 8 seconds here. So overall, pretty decent. Well, actually, the hypercharge buff is a crazy buff. I don't know why this brawler is getting its hypercharge buff, but yeah, the Sneaky Sneakers, not gonna be a good gadget anyways. You always want to go dash regardless. Next buff is going to be Poco. Poco's base HP is going from 7,400 to 7,600. It's going to be a little bit of an increase, but yeah, I think having HP increases can change so many different micro interactions here. And Poco also received another buff. First star power, the Capo, going from 962 healing to 988. Now it's a very small increase, but it does add up over time and can change loads of different interactions. Next up is Penny. Penny's getting a little bit of buff to the turret attack speed, getting increased by 6% here. Now 6% is actually a decent little increase here. I think Penny is a pretty underrated brawler, and I think the brawler kit itself is pretty good. It just needs a little bit more help from the turret side. Maybe they could have made the turret you can charge the super a little bit quicker. That would have been a lot more helpful, but yeah, Penny still looking in a decent spot. Next buff is going to be Melody, going from 7,200 base HP to 7,400. Now I actually think this buff can actually do a lot, because stacking this with the shield gear and the gadget would allow you to get shield. The HP adds up quite a lot, and I think this might even potentially bring Melody back into the meta. The HP buffs continue. Colette is getting a HP increase from 6,800 to 7,000. Once again, another tank counter getting a HP buff. Next buff is going to be Sam. Now Sam, his base damage is going to be increasing from 800 to 1,000 per hit, and honestly this is such a big change, and yeah, I think Sam will be a lot better. People have already started picking Sam. You saw it a lot in LCQ where Rafiki was picking Sam, and we've also tried it out in Scrim, so Sam is actually not a bad brawler. And it now only takes 8 hits instead of 10 hits to get your gloves back, so even if you make a mistake with Sam, it's now less punishable if you do lose your glove. Next brawler buff is going to be Edgar. Edgar's getting a buff to both his star powers here. A increase in damage from 1,350 to 1,490, and an increase of healing to damage ratios going from 25% to 30% more from 25%. Now these changes are going to make Edgar just a slight bit better, and Edgar has been creeping up in the heist meta. It's just whether it's going to be usable outside of heist. So yeah, these changes will be very interesting to see. Next buff is going to be Rose's plant lifestyle power, going from 300 healing per second to 400 healing per second. Now I don't think this will change a bit too much here, because yeah, I still think Rosa struggles with other different things here, but it's always nice to get a little bit of a buff, especially to a star power, which does get activated more, because I think most maps now have a lot more bush in them, and it just allows the Rosa to get some more healing. Ash is getting 2 buffs. First buff is going to be its HP, going from 10,800 to 11,200, and the next buff is going to be the chill pill gadget, which is the best gadget for Ash, going from 3,240 healing to 3,360. Now this is going to help Ash quite a lot, and I think the base HP buff going up by 400 is a bit crazy, and this brawler is definitely going to be a bit more harder to kill. I do think this will change a lot, because I think Ashe sometimes loses out on some interactions based off a little bit of HP. Now there being a total of like 500 to 600 HP buff, including the gadget and the base HP, it's going to change a lot of interaction. I think Ashe might be a little bit better than some other tanks, especially with some tanks actually getting nerfed. Next buff is going to be Nani. Nani's getting 2 buffs actually, and one to its basic attack damage increase from 1480 per little shot to 1600, and his auto-focus star power is going from 1850 damage increase to 2000 damage. Now this damage increase for the star power, super, and the basic attack is going to make Nani a lot more dangerous, and I actually think he'll completely own all sharpshooters now in the game. Like, you can pretty much one-shot most of the sharpshooters now if they don't have shield gear, so this is going to be changing up quite a lot. Next buff is going to be Trunk. His basic damage when you shoot from the center is 1960, and if you shoot when he gets a damage buff from his ants, it's going to be 2548. Now it's going to be 2100 with the basic attack, and with the damage buff it's going to be 2730. Now this is a pretty big increase, especially because I feel like Trunk does lack a lot in those close range engagements. But if you're able to clip your enemy from the max range circle, you do a lot of damage here. But yeah, it's going to be changing up quite a lot here. A very good buff for Trunk. Stu also getting a really good buff. It's going to be going from 19 total ammo being used to get your super to only now 16 here. Now, you know, using 3 less ammo is a whole attack bar, so that's going to be a really good change for Stu. Hopefully able to get his hypercharge a lot more quicker, and it has more meaning to it. Gale is getting a supercharge increase from 18 projectiles to only now 15 projectiles. Once again, they seem to be focusing a lot on tank counters / assassin counters here. So yeah, Gale getting a super a lot quicker is going to be definitely really good. Primo's getting a supercharge buff. He only now needs 11 hits instead of 12 previously, and also he's getting a little bit of a nerf here. So when you actually hit your Primo jump here, you're going to be charging a lot less now from actually hitting the jump. So yeah, kind of balance it so that you get rewarded more for hitting more shots rather than hitting your super. This is actually going to change a lot because now Primo's going to be struggling a lot more to cycle his super, because for example, if you were to hit your enemy and there was 2 of them, you'd get a lot of supercharge hit, but you're going to be getting 2 times less now basically if you hit 2 enemies. And yeah, I think it's actually more of a nerf than a buff for Primo. Tara is getting a buff and a nerf. His normal supercharge rate is going from 10 hits to 12 hits. So if I use all my ammo here, that's 3 cards, and then the 10th one right there, that's going to be how it is currently. And then after the update, it's going to take nearly, well actually exactly 4 ammo now to get your super hit. So this is going to be a very big change. The buff to Tara is that when you super, you get around 25% of your super now. Before it used to be 17%. This is what it looks like in the bar here. So as you see, it is just around like 1/3 to charge your super, but after the update it's going to be now 50% if you hit 2 enemies with your super. So obviously you're going to be able to chain supers a lot more easily if you get multi pulls like onto 2 or 3 enemies. Well, if you were to hit 4 enemies, which is not possible, you will completely charge your super here. So this is a buff for Tara, I believe, because once you get 1 super, as long as you don't waste it, you actually receive a lot of benefits from actually hitting a lot of pulls. Ollie is receiving a really tough nerf here. He's getting 3 nerfs, and his first nerf is going to be, it goes from 3.33 supers to get your hypercharge to now 4 Ollie supers to get your hypercharge. So you're going to be seeing Ollie get hypercharge a lot less, and you guys are not even ready for this. This is the brand new Ollie hypercharge. I'm going to pop it right here, and there we go. So it no longer jumps, it goes from a jump to a dash now, and obviously this is going to nerf it quite a lot here. The speed and stuff has changed quite a lot, but yeah, I think this is a really big nerf to Ollie. And also now his decaying star power is going from 4000 decaying shield to around 3000. And yeah, as you see right now, Ollie just received a criminal nerf here, and it might be over for him. It might be over. I don't know how good Ollie's going to be, because his hypercharge was the main reason you can just stick out and grind through Ollie, in terms of, you know, he has a tough matchup. You just wait for your hypercharge and win the game with that. But now I don't think that would be the case, so a pretty big nerf. Now the next big nerf is going to probably kill this hypercharge, but look at this right now. I'm going to super right here. And yeah, you no longer teleport with the Kenji hypercharge. Another big change. They seem to be killing all the big hypercharges because the mechanics are completely broken. And yeah, this brawler in gem grab is not going to be what it was, because I think the main thing about Kenji is not only that you're able to pull and get those guaranteed 2 hits, but most of the time it's just where you land. You can go crazy and be chaotic and keep cycling. Now you can't do that anymore, so yeah, a really big nerf to Kenji. Jaeyoung is getting 2 nerfs and 1 buff here. His first nerf is going to be his gadget. His gadget's now going to do, well, before it did 2,300 damage. 2,100 damage is what he's going to do now. Now this is a pretty big nerf in my opinion, because this brawler, if he didn't have the gadget, he would lack a lot of damage. And now this is like a really big nerf here. And also the unload shot is being decreased as well, so you can't really spam your attack that quickly anymore. And yeah, I think these nerfs are actually going to be very impactful for Jaeyoung. Jaeyoung's slow gadget, which I don't think anyone really uses, is going from 20% to 30% slow, and it's going to be going from 0.75 seconds to 1.25 seconds. Once again, I don't think anyone really uses Jaeyoung's slow gadget, but maybe with the first gadget getting nerfed, people might start using it more often now. But yeah, Mina's getting a nerf, and I don't personally think it's enough. Mina's receiving 2 nerfs. The first nerf is the damage. Currently, by the 3rd attack, is 4,400. But now it's going to be only 4,000 here. So decreasing by 4,000, I don't think this is a big nerf in my opinion. The next nerf is the supercharge rate. Mina now takes 1, 2, 3 hits to get super. And after the update, it's going to go from 5 hits to 7 hits here. So yeah, you can see right now visually on my super bar how long of a difference it actually is. And yeah, that felt like a really big difference just by looking at the supercharged bar. So yeah, a really big nerf to Mina. But I do think the mobility is the issue. In fact, on how hard this brawler is to hit here, I think mobility is always a big issue. And if it's not dealt with, then yeah, I don't think nerfing the brawler's damage and supercharge rate to a certain extent is not going to, you know, fix the problem here. I do think Mina's just very annoying. And yeah, but maybe the supercharge rate nerf is actually like a really, really big nerf, and it's going to make this brawler really hard to play. Lumi's getting a projectile unload speed reduction here. So when you actually shoot your shot, it's going to be at 9% slower, but when you recall, it's going to be exactly the same here. So yeah, you can't really spam your shots anymore. So the outwards time is going to be reducing, and inwards time of the getting recalled the shots is going to remain exactly the same. Forward's getting a damage nerf to his second star power, where second mushroom does more damage. So as you see right now, this is how much damage I currently do. This is how much it is after the update. This is a 30% to 20% reduction here, so it's gone down by 10% in total. And I do think Cord is still going to be probably the best brawler in the game. I don't think this nerf was anything, and they should have gone a little bit harder with the nerfs, but yeah. Now this is going to be a big nerf right here. If you see right now, I'm going to switch to cannon form. This is how it is currently with epic gear to get your super. It takes 1, 2, and 3 hits, and after the update, it's going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is with the epic gear, and I honestly think this kills the brawler. I don't think Bonnie's ever going to be played again. And the hypercharge is also getting nerfed. It's going from 10 shots to 12 shots. With the epic gear, it will be 9 shots to 11 shots here. So yeah, I think this completely kills Bonnie, and I think Bonnie meta is now completely gone. Mr. P's getting a nerf for some reason, and its supercharge rate is going to go from 6 shots to now 8 shots. And I don't really know why Mr. P is receiving a nerf here, but yeah, I guess it could be like very annoying in lower ranks for those people who don't have to play into it. But yeah, still a weird nerf to me. Draco is going to be getting a damage nerf to its super, going from 2,560 to 2,240 damage per second. And as you can see by this clip as well, there's going to be a bit of a movement speed nerf as well, going from 20% to 15%. Now, I don't know how much this is going to change Draco, because Draco obviously is getting that hypercharge reduction as well, with all the hypercharges being reworked basically. So yeah, I'm not quite sure how this is going to affect Draco, but maybe Draco is still going to be a pretty solid brawler. Next nerf is going to be Kit. Kit's supercharge rate for the hyper is going to be decreased. So it's going to go from 3.3 supers to get your hypercharge to 4 supers now, so a very big nerf. And the cardboard gadget is getting nerfed as well. It's going to go from 20 seconds to 23 seconds, so a 3-second buff to the timer, which is going to be a really big difference in my opinion, because without the invis, Kit can sometimes be very unplayable. And now it takes 5 hits instead of 4 hits to get your super. So yeah, Kit getting so many nerfs. And I still think this brawler can be really good, but I think you now need a good matchup. You can't really play it into anything. Byron is also getting a hypercharge nerf rate, and I think this was really needed, because I think Byron was getting way too many hypercharges so quickly, because this triple shot gadget just makes it so easy to get hits, and yeah, it was a bit too strong. So before, Byron took 2.5 supers to get the hypercharge. Now it's going to take 3.33 supers here. So yeah, a really nice change in my opinion. Finks is getting nerfed, and I actually think it's a pretty good thing that he is, because I think he's completely taken over the hot zone meta, and he's probably very underrated in like Heights, for example, Kaboom Canyon, loads of people play him. And in gem grab as well, he's a good option to have mid, because his TP ability, it just makes him one of the best gem carriers just to escape out of. So yeah, Finks' super charge rate for the hyper is going from 2.9 supers to 3.3, so a slight decrease. And his star power, which everyone goes here, which is going to be the first star power, it's going to go from 30% reload reduction to 25%. So yeah, a pretty decent nerf for Finks here. He's going to be less controlling in the game here, but I still think he's going to be probably the best hot zone brawler. Kaze is getting a hypercharge nerf. Now, before it took 2.2 supers to get the hypercharge, so I'm going to show you visually how it looks. I'm in the dagger form right now, and you can see right here, I'm getting it in a few shots here. I actually whiffed a couple shots. I would have had it by now. But yeah, this is how it looks after the update. After the update, it's now going to take 3.33 supers to get your hypercharge. Now, this is such a big difference here. As you see right now, I'm going crazy with the daggers here. And yeah, it just feels forever now to get your hypercharge. Nearly 4 supers to get a Kaze hypercharge is a really big change here. So yeah, and that's going to be concluding all the balance changes. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is the best balance change we've ever had in the history of this game here, because it's just outlined so many issues we've had. The Ollie hypercharge, the Kenji hypercharge, Kaze hypercharge, all the broken hypercharges are now being nerfed to the ground. And also the hypercharge change with the stat buffs as well, that's been changed. And yeah, I think this, look at this, like the hypercharge now, 20% speed, 5%, like I think this is going to be changing quite a lot, and the game's going to be in a much better place there. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. What's your favorite change? What change you wanted to see? Gonna wrap up today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.